Hi, everybody. AlBernstein here with another one of our Boxing Hot Topics shows. And on this one, I get to pick out a couple of hot topics in the sport and give you my thoughts and insights on them. The first one is about one of the fights on the big July 12th card that we just had a big press conference for. That is the card in New York that features four great fights. It'll be seen on DAZN, and it's going to be a terrific card. And on that card, Shakur Stevenson is going to be battling William Zepeda in one of the main fights. It is a fight that has been widely anticipated and one that I think is really a fascinating matchup. Of course, Stevenson defending his WBC lightweight crown against Zepeda, who is a hard-punching, terrific body puncher, aggressive fighter who has been kind of on a collision course in a way with Shakur Stevenson for a little while. Both men kind of acknowledge it. They've known each other since they were young amateurs, both being amateur fighters. And it is a perfect matchup of styles in that Shakur Stevenson is a terrific boxer puncher and Zepeda an all-out aggressive inside fighter who, as I mentioned, will bang to the body and try and work at a high volume rate with his punches. This is a fascinating matchup on a number of different levels. Stevenson is just the classic textbook boxer puncher. He is a southpaw, which adds to the difficulty for people fighting him. And he has great hand speed, has pop in his punches when he is offensive minded, and is a difficult matchup for Zepeda. He's really a hard matchup for Zepeda when you consider the recent fights. Zepeda's fought a number of southpaws, a number of lefties, but struggled against Tevin Farmer in his last two fights. Now, Tevin Farmer is a very good fighter. He is not on the level of Shakur Stevenson. And Farmer made life very difficult for Zepeda in the ring during those two fights. To me, that's a big key to this fight because we've seen a fighter similar to Shakur Stevenson give him fits. And I'm not suggesting that William Zepeda can't win this fight. He can, but this is going to be a very, very difficult matchup. I think that Shakur Stevenson, at age 27, has his best days still ahead of him. Of course, he's had some very good performances. He's had a couple of fights in which he had wins. They weren't scintillating, and some people were critical of him because the fight didn't create a lot of excitement. But clearly, from his standpoint, he was able to win convincingly. I think that we're going to see Shakur Stevenson from this point on in his career produce more dazzling offensive performances, though, as I point out, he's had some before. And I think this is kind of a crossroads moment for Shakur. And I honestly believe this fight is going to be one that kind of provides him the impetus moving forward to be even more dazzling in his career. Of course, he is hoping to beat Zepeda, again, not an easy task by any stretch, which he acknowledges. And then his super fight, the one that many boxing fans have wanted to see for a long time, would be him against Gervonta Davis. And there is seemingly now more impetus for that fight and possibility for that fight to happen. We all hope it does. But he has to get past William Zepeda on the 12th. I think it will be a good fight. I expect Zepeda to do his very best to create, as I said, a high-volume fight, get inside, work the body, and muscle Shakur Stevenson. As I said, going to be a very difficult task for him. And that is why Stevenson is the favorite in this fight and why many people believe that he deserves to be the favorite. It's going to be a very good fight. And I, for one, will be watching. And I'm sure many of you will be as well. Hot topic number 2 has to do with that very same night on July 12th, when we will see Albert Pueyo defend his WBC 140-pound title against former title holder Subriel Matías. That, too, is a fantastic fight. Again, a good style matchup. Matías, an aggressive fighter who throws in volume, is vulnerable early in fights, but once he gets past that, except for one fight when he lost to Liam Paro, he always ends up mostly getting his way and oftentimes wins by stoppage, much more often than any decisions. Albert Pueyo, who I've announced a number of fights of both Matías and Albert Pueyo, so I'm very familiar with their boxing. Albert Pueyo is a very talented left-hander who I did his fight with Batir Akhmedov and also his fights with a couple of his other fights as well. And the Akhmedov fight is a perfect example of what might happen in the Matías fight. That fight was a razor-thin match that could have gone the other way, but Pueyo ended up winning it. And Albert Pueyo is the kind of fighter who can control the geography and the pace of a fight very, very well. And when he does that, he uses his long reach to pot shot and win fights. He did it against Russell, Gary Antoine Russell, and was very effective at that and winning a very, very close decision. That's tough to do against Matías. And I did Matías's last fight, in which he won and showed us he is back in form, and showed us that aggressive Subriel Matías, who many people thought was the boogeyman in 140 pounds, is still there. And if that Subriel Matías can make his entrance in this fight, it's going to be a very difficult night for Pueyo, because we saw what Akhmedov did, and he is not the puncher that Matías is. He was able to make life very difficult for Pueyo, even though Pueyo won the fight in a very exciting fight. I expect this fight to be very similar to that match. And early in the match, Matías is vulnerable. He has lost the first 2 rounds in virtually every fight I've announced. In a couple of those fights, took a fearful beating against Daniel Ponce. He was just beaten up completely against Ergashev. He took a pounding early in the fight. But he's always able to come back, and if you don't get him out of there, usually he comes back to beat you. Now, Liam Paro was the exception against him, and he was able to box effectively. That's what Pueyo is hoping he can do. Punch, but box, and deaden the attack of Subriel Matías. I think that fight is going to be a terrific fight. And it's part of the reason why that July 12th card, in my opinion, it could end up being one of the best cards of this year. And there are a whole bunch of them scheduled to come out in the last 6 months of the year. And I think that one is going to be great. So on July 12th, I think boxing fans are going to be treated to a terrific night of boxing. Thanks for joining me on this Hot Topics. We'll see you next time.